It's
I just
not showing on my end.
No, I just clicked the button.
Oh, okay.
Give it a minute.
Okay. I think we're on.
We are, Jam. Away we
Yes,
go.
we are. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, Mike B, Linda George. Thank you for joining. Welcome to our event. Today, we will be discussing 4 ways to speed up the approval process, and we will cover the following topics. That includes conditions, dire need situations, expedites, and how to reach your congressman. We have a special guest today, our very own Carol, and of course, Brian. We will be discussing Social Security, compassionate allowance, dire need allowance, and also veterans who has a 100% VA disability rating. All right. All right. Coming right up is Brian. I'll share the floor.
Thank you. Well done, Jam. Carl, thank you for joining us today. Great to have you.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, for those of you listening out there, Carl is the key ingredient in helping people get approved here at the Disability Digest for the last 5 years. So she's seen lots and lots of different situations that fall into people trying to get approved that have certain conditions that could be their health conditions, their financial conditions, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. But before we get started, I have a couple of interesting success stories from this week that I wanted to share with you, everybody out there. And let's see, this one is from our YouTube channel from Toledo 5621. Thank you, Brian. Always great to see you guys. I was approved for Social Security disability. I did have to appeal, as a lot of us have to do here at the Disability Digest. Thank you for all your help. I will not stop watching your most informative videos. It took me 7 months from my initial application. And although his handle is Toledo, this individual is in Las Vegas. So I share these with you as a bit of encouragement because a lot of people are out there stuck waiting. So I have another one here. Let's see. I filed. This is from COVID 2020 stinks. That's his handle. Amen to that. I'd filed in February of 2022. I hired an attorney to process my claim. In the 1.5 plus years duration, I had a stroke. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't have a stroke. I spoke with my attorney only twice. Let me go through that again. 1.5 years, spoke to the attorney twice. Most correspondence was simple emails, uploading documents from physicians. One thing I'd like to note, what happened with my case when I hired an attorney is that Social Security transferred my case out of state to Dallas, which probably couldn't be worse because Dallas has got like, Texas has the longest backlog. So that really slowed it down. I had to reach out to my state representative, and we're going to talk about that today, 3 times to get support getting my case returned to Michigan and finally approved. So that's the short story. It ends with thanks for your videos and your support. All right. So a few snippets there for you. All right, Carl, you ready to get started?
Yeah, sure. So today I'm going to talk about the dire case needs. So we call this as a DRND, or what we call as the description of dire need case. So a dire need situation exists when a claimant alleges any of the following circumstances. So the claimant is without food and isn't able to obtain it. Medical care is restricted because of the lack of resources. So the claimant lacks shelter and like all the basic needs that clients who apply for SSDI is having difficulty obtaining. So absent evidence to the contrary accepts a person's allegation that the person does not have enough income or resources to meet an immediate threat to their health or
Oh, you paused there, Carl. I don't know if you have a technical.
for this for the dire case need. So all
Carol, you're cutting in and out.
Yeah, we're having a bit of an audio glitch.
Okay. So should I start again?
No, I think we're to the point where people have like needs and resource needs. And then I was trying to read your lips and I wasn't doing very well. So
people who are qualified for the dire case need are SSDI applicants who don't have enough resources to sustain their basic needs.
okay. So if somebody is like they're not able to pay their rent, that'd be a basic need.
Yeah, shelter is one, food.
Yep.
Yeah, so the all the basic necessities.
Okay. Okay. And are there any other like key points to this, like, single parent or any other aspects to this, or is it the same for everybody?
It's the same for everybody as long as it is covered anyone who is having difficulty with the basic necessities.
Okay. All right. One of the tools that we've prepared for folks that want to pursue this, like, that sounds really good. It's all about me. What do I do next? So I'm going to go through an example of how you can move forward with completing a dire need, and I'll provide this link at the end. So I've created a template letter. And for those of you that are out there that have followed some of our prior events, you have hopefully learned how to use some of the letter preparation resources that we've covered with AI. And this was polished with that. But the template letter is addressed to Social Security, and you would fill in the blanks. And I'm writing to bring to your attention a dire need situation that I'm currently facing while awaiting my disability decision claim. And I kindly request your consideration. And in the following paragraphs, you want to customize it. You want to communicate like your age, the number of doctors that you've seen, the medications, the conditions that you have, why you're not able to work. I'm going to pause here. This is what we've covered and some of the other live events, so that yes, you have the dire need, and two, you're also communicating that you qualify for disability, so they can clearly see that in the letter, hopefully. And then you also want to put in some other nuances, like I believe if you have independent children, like if you're a mother and you've got a 6 and an 8-year-old and you're about to be homeless and you don't have any food, that may provide some additional leverage to the situation if somebody is empathetic, sympathetic, who knows? All right, so this is a letter. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but I'll put in at the end this template letter that you can go through and use. Okay. So Carl, back to you. I've got a few more questions on this. So we talked about what it is and how to apply. The big question is, does this work?
So I believe it's not helpful because we've tried this to a couple of times with our clients, and we've had 0% that it worked.
Yeah. And in the networking groups that I work in, this has been discussed as well as an ineffective way to get a case approved. But that's the time of this recording. Hopefully, Social Security is going to improve. And if you're listening to this a year from now, who knows? Hopefully, the environment will be different. Okay, so anything else to add on the dire need?
So process. So for the dire need, what Social Security does when they get notified. So usually their case gets flagged from the local office down to the disability determination level. So in an ideal world, it should have been prioritized for clients that we've requested that are in dire case need.
Okay, great. Just a shout out to the 104 people that are out there just on our YouTube channel. You might be listening on Facebook or somewhere else. We are going to take some questions here. I'm going to turn my halo off. I didn't know I had that on. At the end of this presentation. So if you have individual questions about anything that falls into keeping and maximizing your disability benefits, we'll take some time to entertain that. So, okay, good. This has been great. Very helpful, Carl. Thank you. Thank you. All right. You ready to move on to our next topic?
Sure.
All right. So the next one we are going to discuss is a compassionate allowance. We'll go through, hopefully with your help, get an understanding of what it is. In my opinion, there is some confusion around this. People read about it, they think they qualify, maybe they do, but oftentimes they don't. So what is it? Help us understand.
Okay. So Social Security Compassionate Allowance, Terry. So compassionate allowances are a way to quickly identify diseases and other medical conditions that by definition meet Social Security standards for disability benefits. So these conditions primarily include certain cancers. So when a client says that I have cancer, it doesn't automatically confirm that the client can be approved with compassionate allowance because it would be into a certain stage, such as 3 or 4. So the most terminal case. So for adult brain disorders, also, this is also part of the compassionate allowance, and a number of rare disorders. So in the screen, as you can see, those are considered for clients Those are diagnoses that confirm that clients may apply for the compassionate
Mm-hmm.
allowance.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing is having the compassionate allowance as I scroll through the long list here is one, but you need to meet the degree of severity for it. Is that right,
Yeah,
Carl?
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And that's where the confusion comes in. Okay. All right. So for these, there is a similar process for applying. And if you're using a disability representative, these letter examples, and you're welcome to craft them, but it's something that they should be doing for you. So this is a template letter that's got, the structure of it has more detail to it, where it opens by saying, I'm writing to request consideration for compassionate allowance for my medical condition. And then it goes through a fill in the blank, name a condition, alternate names, description, diagnosis, so on and so forth. When the condition started, the progression of it. So in that section, for example, for what Curl had referenced, the progression would be a stage 3, right, Curl, or a stage 4.
And
Consider.
certain blood cancers or like sizes of the tumor. I think it's all in the list.
Okay. So you're spelling it out and then sending in the letter. So I had just earlier today, I guess it's an unfortunate situation. The comment from Mike that I'm going to read. I have recently been diagnosed with neuroendocrine tumor, or a small intestinal tumor. It's inoperable, and has metastasized. And I feel I have met the compassionate allowance, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly, but we don't know.
I think that's neuroendocrine.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I think that the condition is neuroendocrine.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. My message that I want to share with people is I'll use John Green as an example, from Long Island, and he had stage 4 cancer when he initially applied and he was denied. And he came to us to file his reconsideration, really sick. And he passed away before they made a decision on his case. So he clearly had stage 4 cancer, which meets the criteria, but it wasn't properly communicated in the initial application. That's what my take is. And so as a result, this unfortunate situation, he didn't get approved. So I guess what I want to make sure people understand is, again, having it is one thing, having it at the right stage, in this example of cancer, is another, but communicating it properly would be the third criteria to make sure that it stands out from all the other 1.4 million cases that are in the disability system. Okay. All right. Once again, if you have questions on this or other items, we'll be taking those in a few minutes once we go through the 2 other ways to speed up your disability approval process. Okay, Jan, you want to talk about how veterans, if they have a rating, can speed up their approval process?
Yes. So veterans with 100% permanent and total VA rating, what it is they have the disability VA rating, and that they are considered totally and permanently disabled due to a service-connected condition or conditions. And this rating entitles the veteran to the maximum amount of disability compensation available from the Department Veteran Affairs.
Mhm,
What it is not is a 100% rating does not mean that the veteran is completely unable to work or that they are bedridden. And it
mhm,
also does not mean that the veteran is exempt from all other VA requirements, such as attending medical appointments or submitting to periodic reevaluations of their condition.
mhm. Yeah,
Um, yeah, do you have something to add on that, Brian?
that was really
What it
good.
is not. Okay.
What it is not, what it is not is it doesn't provide any preferred influence on the decision process. It speeds up
Mhm.
your decision, but it's not, it has zero impact on the probability of getting approved. As a matter of fact, veterans that use the VA and veterans with these high ratings of 100% are difficult to get approved. We have, I want to say 20, 25 individuals right now that fall into this category that we're working directly with. So just a word of caution that I don't want veterans to get a false sense of security with this 100%. Again, it speeds up the process, but there's like 4 key things that veterans need to overcome to get their case approved that I've experienced that are different than what civilians do. So we've covered that extensively in other videos.
Mhm.
But that's it. So let's see, what else can we talk about? Oh, how you take advantage of this, right?
Yeah. But before that, I would like to add on regarding what you said. Yeah, we can, there are many types of disability programs, both the government and private, and it's important to remember that they use different rules, and a person may be receiving benefits under another program like VA disability, and still
Mhm,
not be entitled under Social Security disability rules.
mhm, yeah,
And yes, in some cases, this may be true.
mhm. Yeah, well said. What was I going to cover? Oh, how to apply.
Uh,
Um,
Um,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So three things how to apply. Let me go first. I'm sorry. To apply for VA disability compensation, veterans should submit a completed VA form. I believe I forgot the name of the form, but it's 526EZ. That's the application for disability compensation, and it's also related compensation benefits to their local VA regional office. And the form can be submitted online, by mail, or in person at a VA regional office.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
And to apply for expedited processing of your SSDI claim, when you have a VA disability rating, three primary things you can do is apply online through ssa.gov. And then you may also call the toll-free national toll-free number, which is the 1-800-772-1213, or visit your local Social Security office.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that will get somebody in the application process for Social Security disability. Of course, we encourage you to come here and use our disability approval course, teach you what to do. Learn more about that at the end. But to get the actual notification in that you have a rating of 100% is take your rating letter. Once you have applied for disability, you will be assigned a case manager that you can communicate with and add additional evidence. That's a good time to add it. If you're working with a disability representative and they're filing your application, you can simply provide it to them to get it into the case file, right? Carol, you know of any other ways to get it in? No? Yes? Maybe?
Oh, none.
None? Okay.
Just faxing in the same way that you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
All
Yeah, and
right.
there's the question there, how long? It's very common. How long does the process take?
Sure.
Mhm.
I mean, how
So,
long it takes with Social Security disability is just such a difficult question to answer, even with this expedite. I mean, I mean, I think of people like right now in my mental Rolodex that we're working in that have this rating, and you know, they're around normal wait times. So I don't know, Carl, do you have a different opinion on this?
Yeah. So we advise our clients if it has been more than a year that their application has been pending to contact their government representative or the local congress.
Mm-hmm.
So how your representative could help speed up your disability decision is um, they will contact the office, and then they will um, from there the congress would send a letter to social security, and they would advise them on where their case is at, what is taking so long for the client's case. So we have a video along with that with our clients who did the same thing. They contacted their local congress, but we don't usually advise them to do this at an early time. Like, for example, we've applied last June, and then the client would contact the office at around August, like this month.
Mm-hmm.
So it would their case wouldn't be complete yet. Sometimes it wouldn't be assigned to an examiner. So if that's the case, then Social Security would um, make a decision right away without the medical records.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can look up your local representative, and I'll put the videos around, but I live in the land of Bernie, and I've used representatives for congressmen from both parties, but Bernie just simply, his office gets it done. So if you go to your, if you have a preferred representative that you want to use, just go to their website and scroll around, and they provide contact information where you can call them, or in some of them they even provide forms that you can just fill out online for assistance. And you can use them, like I've used them for IRS related issues, if you have any. Hopefully you don't, but for Social Security. So we have collected several. Actually, we just had somebody else yesterday that Carl and I talked to that have used representatives to speed up the process. So I will put one of the links in the YouTube chat, which is the Greg's story. And you can use that. That has the directions and how to contact your representative. There's others, but you can just search your YouTube channel and find those. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have? I think that covers the 4 key points, right? That we wanted to go over. Okay, so let's. I'm also right now. I'm going to put in the chat the website that I showed you with the letters on it. And this video at the top is non-related. It's just a holding video right now that will be replaced. So don't worry, I haven't lost it. It's just, it'll be updated here in a little bit. But the letters are the ones that I covered in the presentation. Okay, so let's take some questions. Maybe Carl will help us and answer some.
Yeah, sure. Here's one from our Facebook page. Applied in February. They just sent me an appointment to see a APRN. I believe that's a nurse practitioner. What type of review is this?
So it sounds like an independent medical exam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a standard. Well, it is a 72% of disability applicants, according to the Biden budget, go for an exam to have their conditions and medical records validated. There's an exam for brain health related issues like depression, PTSD, anxiety, and then there's one for physical. So that sounds like what you went. There's some definitely 7 key things that we advise people to do to make sure that that is a success. So you can just, if you don't have access to that, you can search our YouTube channel, or if you're a member at the Disability Digest and you don't have that, then you can reach out to us and we'll get you that information.
All right. Here's one from Nancy from our YouTube viewer. Do you have to report renters rebate checks or any rebates from the state?
All right. So would that be considered earned income, yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
The
That's
answer
the question.
right. So it's no. So think about income this way. There is earned income that you earn from doing a job, like you're working at a local grocery store and you're earning probably $18 an hour now. That is time for money. So you're earning money doing that. Rebate checks, income from rental properties, investment income, royalties from insurance, from a YouTube channel, that's passive income. So passive income has a certain code with the IRS that it's not considered earned income. So then that would fall into the passive category because you're not working for it.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. I applied in December of 2019, got declined twice, applied the third today, and today marks a year, and I haven't got a decision yet.
All right.
So she's more of a statement. I think she's on
I think
the
there's
hearing.
a statement, but I think that Carl, do you want to go through again what you advise people to do that have been waiting a long time?
Yeah, so first, check their portal where they're at like 90%, 75 to 90%, and then they could contact the local congress if it has been stuck there for more than 2 to 3 months. So they contact the local congress and they could check out the videos that we have.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. I'm in the middle of reconsideration as of the moment. Took me 5 months. They sent me forms to fill out and I sent them back, and that was all the contact I had with them.
Good. Statement.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's, I'll just say this for, unless you're approved, there is, I encourage you to make sure that you're doing everything you can do to maximize your chances of getting approved. More specifically, I see people that fall into a common category. They've applied online on their own and they've submitted their application, and their mentality is that they're just going to wait, which you can do, but typically they haven't done the steps that are going to help them maximize their benefits, like doctor support, third-party support, communicating their condition and limitations to Social Security. So again, just make sure you follow the information here or the directions we're going to provide you at the end. Just make sure you're doing everything you can to max your chances.
All right. I have questions about application process for SSI for child, and they want to send her to their doctor to make final decision. Is this a bad sign? That's Lady T.
I don't know the nuances of children's because it's a separate area. But again, I would say that the evaluation from a doctor is part of the process and not to be concerned about it.
Okay. What are the 4 things for veterans? I think that is what we covered earlier.
Yeah, but I'll go through them briefly. The medical records at the VA are difficult to understand for Social Security to make a determination that somebody is disabled. Commonly, there's like a lot of them, like 1,400 pages of medical records. So if you have a case that goes into the system and you've got somebody that's pressed, they're overworked, they got a deadline, and they're faced with looking through all of this to try to figure, that's a challenge. Veterans, especially combat veterans, typically do not communicate their limitations properly. They're just trained to play hurt, to be conservative in their pain level. They may be at, a pain level, they might say it's a 5, but for a civilian, that pain level might be a 9. So those are some of the challenges that veterans are faced with. The last one, which is I heard more than once, is that a lot of the judges that hear disability cases, if your case has to go to court, are veterans, and they're working a full-time job. And you would think they may have the mindset that okay, well, listen, you're one of us, but it goes the other way. It's like, I'm out here working, buddy, and doing my job. I'm a veteran, and they may even have a high rating. So that has provided a negative influence or a bias, if you will, on the approval process. So that one's tough to get around. You just need to have a really good case. The other ones are much easier to resolve.
Right. From Linda George, when Social Security receives your doctor's reports to see if you qualify, who reads them? And who are the people who make the decision if you qualify or not?
Carol, do you want to speak to this one?
Sorry, can you repeat the question for me, please? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. When Social Security receives your doctor's report to see if you qualify, who reads them, and who are the people who make the decision if you qualify or not?
So when you send the doctor support forms, the disability examiner who is assigned to your case will check that, and that will be reviewed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they can make the final decision, Carl, right there.
Once with just this evidence.
Well, no, in general, they are the decision makers. That's
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Next question for Michael. I did not notify Social Security that I am 100% PNC in the online initial application. Disability Digest is now representing me. Should I send my VA letter to Carol?
Yeah, of course. Hi, Michael.
Of course, sir. Yes. Thank you for the info and all that you do. Such a blessing. From John Z from New York.
Thank you.
Question from Nancy. Do you have to report rent? Oh, that's repeated question. Veterans, if you're employed, this will make your approval difficult. From Bobby Bow.
Will it make your approval difficult?
More of a statement. And there's a follow-up. Veterans, fight with your VA providers and let them know your disabilities prevent you from working or keep a job. More of an advice.
That's a really good point. Like communicating your limitations, getting that in your evidence. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. From Tracy, just mentioned passive income, receiving bonuses from a company but not working hourly rates. Is this considered as passive income or not?
Bonuses would, I'm gonna go with no, and I'm on 99% because you're not engaged in that. It falls into like similar to insurance income. But the reason why I say 99% and not 100 is how it shows up and is categorized as your income, how it's paid to you, right? So if it's paid to you like a regular paycheck and that's how it's looked at and accounted for, then it's going to be regular income. Yeah. I just, one last thing before we wrap up. I just wanted to give a shout out about the working while you're getting approved piece, right? Social Security does allow you to work and earn, Jan, you might have to correct me, 1,470?
Correct.
70, got it right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm new here, folks, so bear with me. But the challenge with the working piece is that, especially if you're earning like up around $1,000, is it allows Social Security to like scrutinize your case more and say, if you had different treatment, you're going to pain management, or you had a different job with reasonable accommodations, then you could work. So just be aware of that. My preference, and this is a case-by-case situation, if somebody you're attempting to prove that you cannot work, but people need to survive. And there are instances where if you're down in like what I call the hobby level, where your income is $400 or $500 a month, then you should be okay doing that. Just be aware, right?
Right.
So good. Is that it for the questions?
I am still waiting for my back pay for SSI. Everything was done last October. No contact from them.
Oh boy.
Right.
That would be get your documentation together, put it in writing, contact a representative. That's a long time.
Yeah, that's more than 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Well, Jam, if you come up with one more, we can take it, but I'm going to start just wrapping up here and going back through. So today, folks, we've covered 4 different ways to speed up your approval process and talked about which ones work and which ones don't. And that's dire need, compassionate allowance. And if you're a veteran with a 100% rating, and I think in our popular opinion here, the one that is the most effective is contacting your representative, but you need to be aware of if and when to do that. If you're asking your representative to apply some pressure to your case too early and it's not properly developed, then you're going to get a decision based on what's in there. So just beware of that, right? We all good to wrap up, Jim?
Can we take one more question?
One more.
Okay. Can I get a copy of the medical report that was used to decide my claim? Social Security sent me for the exam.
Okay, so is this is for the independent medical exam? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, Carl, in case files, they do put those in there. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So if you're using a representative, you could ask your representative, they could get it for you. I don't know if you're not using a representative, if you contact your case manager, if they would provide it. That I don't know. But to answer your question, is it possible? Yes, it is. Yep. Good. So listen, I want to first of all thank Miss Jam, who as always has done a wonderful job here. Carl, pleasure to have
Sure.
you out. Thanks for
Thank
helping
you.
us
Thank
and
you.
others understand these opportunities that are available. And last but not least, thank everybody out there and listening out there wherever you are. We appreciate you taking time out of your day. You could be doing other things, and spending it with us is an honor.
Right.
And if you're new here, subscribe, ring the bell if you're on our YouTube channel. You can learn more about us and join us as a member, which there's no charge at thedisabilitydigest.com. I think Jam put the link in the YouTube feed earlier. So as a member here, you can join us, and it's the best way that we can help you, because like on our YouTube channel, we do one of these events every week, and then there's like 900 and something other videos, and we are grateful for you watching all of them for sure. But to get the exact information you need when you join, your profile will point us in the right direction. And that could be getting approved, where you get access to a course where you can do it on your own, or if it's not a fit, you want to have somebody do it for you, that's a possibility. Or if you're already approved,